Oh, hello. I don't know if this is working. It's interesting. All right. So, if it is, good morning. Good morning. It's now Monday. Oh, incoming. It's Monday, October 19th. I can't remember what I called this, but it's, part of my continued trusting the plan, which was probably a bad mistake to call it that, but whatever. We're only making plans for Nigel. Well, Nigel's only making plans for him. I don't know. I mean, oh yeah, I know. Good morning, no moaning. We did this. I'm looking outside. Funnily enough, it's foggy. Rather appropriately foggy and cool. The birds are singing in the trees. It's kind of still. But I'm here in Los Angeles, California. It's a beautiful morning. How did we get here? David Byrne. How did we get here? Mostly we were lazy, I suppose. Or poor drivers. Ignoring warning signs. I suppose that's what I mean by poor drivers. So this moment in time, which may or may not exist, this moment in time, I'm cataloging it because, one, I want to wish my sister a very happy birthday. She was born on this date. Probably, I don't know. I have no idea how old she is. I'm 60 something. She's got to be 50 something. I don't know. Anyway, linear time has always been a hard problem. Well, chronological time. Measurement. The mismeasurement of man. That was a book I read a long time ago. It's actually a really good book. Yeah, it's this distillation right now. This one. A friend of mine who I've become kind of interested in his thoughts. He does the rambling talk thing where he lets his perception take him to the next point, to the next point, to the next point. So he rambles, but he connects dots as he's rambling that are interesting. I've been following him for a while, and not long ago he started talking about nothing and everything. And recently some words came to me, or I made them up, or something happened, but I had to write them down. And it was all timelines merge, all timelines merge. When we let go of perception, when we just go, okay, so all timelines kind of merge, and it's that fascinates me as much as anything, because there are stages of everything. Everything has a platform on which it's staged for a bit, and then it changes, and then it changes. So the many stages that we're going through as human beings right now may prove to be advantageous. Oh, coffee. They may prove to be advantageous. I mean, the reason they'll prove to be advantageous is unclear. A lot of people are pinning a lot of hope on political change, which may or may not have any significant outcome on our current human crisis. I'm not talking about the plan that some of these people that I think are a lot all crazy. You know, I think there are people in charge who put themselves in charge by being righteous enough to believe in something that they want everybody to believe in. And I don't want anybody to fall for that trap. I mean, because that's an old trap, isn't it? You know, I mean, talk about white hat, black hat stuff, and it's like, you know, my God's bigger than your God. My dad's bigger than your dad. My mum's louder than your mum. You know, it becomes I mean, this is just something observational about human nature. But the thing I think that might be of an advantage from this current situation we're in humanity is the realization of our own individual and thus collective humanity's power to make positive change by recognizing the beauty and the love and the care and the kindness that exists on our abundant planet, in our abundant universe, in our abundant multiverse, in our maximized time and space moment. This might be a pivotal point. All the hand movements, it's so funny. I don't even like looking at myself. I'm looking out the window behind my computer, and that's much more interesting than what I'm saying. But I just want to, the reason I'm saying it is to remind myself of this moment in time. And then if I'm around in this human experience in a year's time, I might look back at it and go, wow, what an idiot. Or alternatively, wow, this is awesome. Because I'm starting to truly appreciate what it is to be alive, really alive, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, transmitting, receiving. I mean, all those things, just alive. I helped a very close and dear friend yesterday who was having an awful time with her health, and it took me only a few minutes of allowing kindness to enter the tiny melee that was happening around this person's really bad spell of health, but letting kindness come in. And I spoke calmly. I touched the parts of her legs and feet that were giving her physical problems, and we talked very calmly about what she'd taken into her digestive system, into her body, that was different from previous days or previous moments. And she'd taken a supplement to her diet, which she felt was necessary. And you know, we can read all the charts on our different levels of, excuse me, different levels of stuff, and you can go, oh wow, I'm low on that, and then you take a supplement. But that supplement, you don't know how your body's going to react to having that adjustment. And it's not necessarily what you're taking to balance your body, which is usually a very good thing. It might be the adverse reaction to it because it came too quick. And if I take that as an analogy of what's going on in this external world, as well as within that microcosm of that moment, there's a lot of people that are suffering from inertia, the inertia of rapid change in their perception. So that affects your mentality, physicality, you know, your emotions, everything. Anyway, I wish somebody would come on here. I don't know if that's even possible. I open the chat up on the side. And I don't know how long I'm going to be on here, because this is something I didn't even know I could do, which was go live. Okay. Hello. Come on. Join me. The reason I think that I want people to join me is because I want to remain as open to other people's perceptions as I am to my own, because my own is my own. And so it's really interesting to learn from other people's perceptions. I had a great day yesterday. I did lots of interesting, normal daily tasks and interactions with people. My neighbors, the guy who lives underneath me, just a great guy, helped me with things that are within his area of expertise, which is really good. It allows me to make this human experience more interesting, because his skills allowed me to be in a position where I can get some viable means of transportation around this physical earth that I love so much. So that's good. Yeah, and so interaction, I think, is very important. And part of this, again, I don't want to give them credence. They're not in charge, but part of the people that are making the rules up as we go along, this whole idea that we're going to isolate ourselves from each other is just such it's the opposite of what we need. So if you think of what they're doing as being, just observe it and go along and go, okay, they want us to stay in and not interact with each other and distance from each other. Well, if we're in, jokingly, the upside down, then we just flip that. It's like, interact more, don't be isolated, reach out to people, help people, understand that they're in a similar position to you, and it's not making them happy. So help them to try and understand that within this melee that is playing out in front of us, we have a choice. We have an active choice, and it's time to make it, really. I keep going back to this one overriding question that probably has no real answer in the collective, but definitely has within each individual, which is, Do you value your individual freedom? Because, again, those that make the rules at the moment, they're trying to take that away. So do you value your individual freedom? That's all I want an answer to from individual people. I mean, you can wear a mask. I don't care. I don't care if it's Halloween or not Halloween. You can still wear a mask. That's fine. I understand. You can socially distance. That's fine too. You can distance yourself from other people's ideas. You know, you can live that isolated life. You can not absorb and interpret logic and knowledge. You can do all of that. I mean, it's fine. But if you truly value your own individual freedom, then you should do something to proclaim it, because we claimed it by being it, which is fine. But it's obvious now that that's not going to continue if we follow the edicts of those that think they're in charge. You know, that choice you've made is going to be taken away from you. And it's a basic choice. Freedom. I love mine. Ooh. Wow. There's a flock of birds just went over outside. I was interested. But it was like a whole flock of the same shaped birds, you know. So I have no idea what bird it was, but, you know, birds of a feather flock together. You know, I'm finding lots of friends through social media interaction and phone and telephone technology. Through technology, I'm finding lots of friends who are forming this birds of a feather flocking together thing. And even though we're not knowingly a collective, we feel the collective connection, and that collective connection is super important. We may disagree on many, many issues in this human experience, but the collective feeling, intuitive feeling, allows us to be strength in numbers. That way, the predator to these individual small birds is confronted with, no, we're not going to do this, you know. So that's so weird. Everything is intuitive, and there's things I'm seeing. I mean, there's things I'm seeing that just blow me away. I mean, just nature things, mostly nature things. The sky at night. A friend of mine who's kind of mixed up and confused, like we all are, posted a series of sunset shots of Los Angeles, in and around Los Angeles. And he's a friend who lives not far away from me, and I've got to go see him. I want to go see him because he posted this series of beautiful sunset shots, and it's like, wow, you know, he's appreciating the nature around him and not focused on a lot of the ugliness that's been created in and around the building of a city. You know, I mean, when we go into the next phase of humanity, I want people to start to understand that the aesthetic, which we visually, you know, we sense, the aesthetic that we sense on a daily basis is very important to us. So be aware of what you're creating, and make sure that it's in line with the beauty of nature as much as possible. You know, there are good futurists, there are great technologists, and but once it gets into the wrong hands, you know, I mean, once the ideas get into the wrong hands and they start going, oh, you know, I can make this a scarcity, or I can make this a profit-making situation. Well, people that want to create just for the sake of the beauty of creation are going to need to come more and more to the fore. Wow, I wittered on. I don't know how long I've been on here, and I don't know if it will stay here. Oh, 20 minutes. I normally do like 2 minutes, but because it's live, I was thought, oh, maybe somebody will come up in the chat, but they didn't. So, and I don't even know if it's possible. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is, if you really value your individual freedom, now is the time to proclaim your individual freedom and your individual choice, because there are other people having human experiences who are not necessarily, and they may at their core be kind, compassionate human beings, but they've become monsters, and they'll take things away from you. And one of the things they're coming for now is your individual freedom. They don't want you to have a choice. You've got to do it their way, or you're out of the way. And choose freedom. And then along with that freedom comes responsibility and love and kindness and all the other things. But the freedom is at the core of our humanity. And we need that. I love you. I'm going to leave you for now. I've got lots to do today in this. What's it, my friend calls it? In this realm. I don't know. I mean, I'm experiencing Nigel, and he's going to go out and do stuff. Cheers then. Love you. Bye.